So today we are doing simplifying a ratio, your learning objectives, to understand how to set up and simplify ratios, to apply logical methods simplifying a ratio representing different units, to evaluate known parts of a ratio to calculate other values. So our frame model, so the definition, the relationship between two groups is or amounts that express how much bigger one is than the other, usually to do with triangles. We use the colon symbol to separate the ratio questions. Some examples, and it should never be written as a fraction, except in special cases. So, your bronze example, make sure you've got all of this copied down into your book before we begin. So pause the video, allow them a couple of minutes to copy it down. I'm going to go through the examples now. So your bronze example, simplify 10 pence to £3. Now, you can't compare these ratios unless they are in the same format. So before we even begin simplifying, we are going to convert our pounds here to pence. So for every pound, we have 100 pennies. So let's convert that now. So for every £3, we have 300 pence. So that's 10 pence to 300 pence. Now, we're going to simplify this by putting it in its simplest form. So I can divide both of these by 10. So I'm going to do that. Divide by 10, giving me 1 pence and 30 pence. Now I can't simplify that ratio any further. That is it. So that is that ratio in its simplest form. Your silver then, write the following ratio in the form 1 to n. So that means we want our second ratio here, our second value in our ratio to be a value, but our first one has to be 1 because that's what the question has asked. So it doesn't matter what numbers are in there as long as this first value here becomes 1. So I'm going to divide by 3 because 3 divided by 3 will give us 1. And I have to then do the same to the 10, so I need to divide that value by 3. 10 divided by 3. Now, this is our special case where we can have a fraction, so you can either leave it in this format or change this to a decimal. So you've got your 3.3 recurring. So that is now in the form of 1 to n, where n is any number, but this number has to be 1. That is what you're doing. So I'm going to move on to the trials, give yourself a chance to have a go at those. So here are your trials, pause the video, allow the pupils 5 minutes or so to have a go at these questions, no more than that. I'm going to start going through these now. So again, simplify for your bronze. We've got 50 millimetres to 8 centimetres. So I need to convert them both either to centimetres or to millimetres. I'm going to convert them both to millimetres to make my life a little bit easier. So for every centimetre, we have 10 millimetres. So that means that I'm going to times this value here by 10, giving me 50 millimetres to 80 millimetres. Right, now I'm going to divide both of these by 10, giving me 5 millimetres to 8 millimetres. Okay, so that is your value. Right, our next one, write the following in the format of n to 1, where our first value can be any number, but this value here has to be 1. So to go from 10 to 1, we need to divide by 10. So 10 is now going to become 1. 7 we also need to divide by 10. So it's going to be 7 over 10. So you can have it as that, or 0.7 to 1. Those are your answers. So mark those, see how you did. Now, depending on how you've done, it's going to depend on which task you start on next. So you are either going to start on bronze, silver, We'll move on to gold. So after that, you've got platinum and then your answers. You've also got some problem solving questions. So this is one you can do. This is your answer. Another question, again, your answer, question and answer. So you've got a few of those to have a go at as you go on, a few more even. So off you go on your tasks.